You might have noticed that there was no Kol Nidre appeal, even though we call it that often, because that was when the synagogue was most full and people would listen and to hear often what the state of the synagogue and encouraged to be a part of it and to support it. And I do apologize that in our announcements about tomorrow's schedule, we mentioned that Rabbi Stecker will be giving the sermon at 10 o'clock, and that Yisker, if you're on by 10:45, you will make sure to get it. Might be a teensy bit later than that. But that Bert Weston, the president of our congregation, will be giving his State of the Synagogue address, Kol Nidre address, if you want to call it that, tomorrow morning around that 10:45 time. So either before or just after Yiskor, Bert will be speaking. And I will share my lesson now. So if you'd like, you may be seated. I titled my lesson tonight, on Yom Kippur, we grapple with three human traits: with love, with hate, and the ability to change hate back into love. A few years ago, at a Yom Kippur sermon, I confessed that I spend too much time on Facebook. Unfortunately, I've yet to break the habit. If anything, these months of quarantine has given me too much time, too much of an opportunity, not less. In that sermon, though, I explore some of the psychological and neurological reasons many of us use social media, perhaps are even addicted to it. I can share the sermon again after the holiday. But tonight I want to focus on the polarization and hate that we are seeing and hearing everywhere, especially on the internet. If I want to get good and mad and depressed, I just have to look at social media to see how rude and hateful people are being towards those with whom we disagree. True to the word polarize, we have become teams who are emotionally, if not physically, more and more distant. We are yelling at each other, often without listening to one another. We are arguing so much, the words seem like a drama script, and the combatants are just role actors saying their parts. When I get depressed reading those hateful words, I keep asking, is it even possible to fix this polarization? Where is our common ground? Where are the common values? Is there any place for hope? A possible answer is that we need to hone our capacity for love and use that love to reduce our hate. In 1939, Isaac Asimov, the science fiction author, published a short story titled Rabbi. It takes place in the then future year, 1982. There are mute robots who can do household jobs, including caring for children. The Weston family, no relation to Bert, our synagogue president, who just walked into the room, employs one of these robots to care for their daughter, Gloria. Even though Rabbi can't talk, Gloria becomes very attached to Rabbi. Her parents cannot fathom how Gloria can be emotionally attached to essentially a hunk of steel and electronic circuits. When a person cares for us, gives us attention, we are wired to see that as love. Gloria thought and truly felt that Rabbi loved her. Since love takes energy and selflessness, we humans have an opposite inclination, sometimes to selfishness, to hatred, to devaluation, to dehumanization. We are often tempted to think it would be easier if we all just agreed. And taken to the extreme, we see people who disagree with us as obstacles that need to be gotten rid of, or at least pushed down with insults. Fortunately, we have a choice between love and hate, and we can always make that choice, even after we have shared some hate. With our free will that we have been given, we have the capacity to change and to take something from the robots, reprogram ourselves. I think you'll agree with me that we need to collectively put the time and energy to reduce our hatred, to increase our love for one another. As the country and the world mourn the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Zichrona Livracha, may her memory be for a blessing, much is being said about her deep relationship with Justice Antonin Scalia. How could such divergent ideologues admire and, yes, love each other as dear friends? The simple answer is that Scalia and Ginsburg cared for each other and bonded as human souls. Both justices derived pleasure from their shared interests in opera, travel, and yes, it didn't hurt that they derived enjoyment from their vigorous debates with each other. We humans are blessed with great capacity to love. When we nurture and act on that love, we enhance, celebrate our common humanity. We should be inspired by the friendship of Ginsburg and Scalia and other loving relationships in the world and in our lives so that we can love more and hate less. Part of why we are seeing more hate in the world is because, as we all know, the world is more chaotic than it has been in a long while. Because of technology, human events are occurring faster. On a personal level, we write messages back and forth instantaneously instead of waiting for a postal service. On a medical level, a new virus can spread worldwide in the matter of days and not months and years like it used to take. And this fast pace leads us, including scientists, to posit something called chaos theory. The idea that our universe and our world is ever expanding and losing its order and predictability. Everything is just going to chaos, disorder. And many of us are wondering if this chaos theory applies to our moral universe as well. Are we really growing further and further apart, to so far apart that we can never come back together? Are we more emotionally distant now than we have been in the past? And is hate going to replace the goodness and love in our world? If we give in to moral chaos theory, then there is no hope. Why should we strive for good if everything is chaotic? Why should we be loving and selfless if we people, like the universe, keep moving farther and farther apart, and there'll just be more and more hatred? Fortunately for us, Jewish tradition believes in the opposite of chaos theory, stating that the universe is improving through teshuvah, redemption. We often translate teshuvah as repentance, but we can also say that teshuvah means return, lashuv. With teshuvah, we return to each other, coming closer and closer after we've been distant. In religious and scientific jargon, the opposite of chaos is cosmos, order that is organized and holy. Our tradition is also scientific about teshuvah and redemption, saying that they are both as much part of the universe as gravity and electromagnetism. God's essence is forgiveness, as we are going to say over and over again, even in just a few minutes. Adonai, Adonai, Arachum v'chanun. God's essence is merciful and forgiving. Under this cosmos theory, a better world is assured to us. From the beginning of time, it is programmed in to the universe. The struggle between good and evil in the world will come to an end and good will prevail. Humans will shed their evil ways, leaving only our love for one another. This understanding of teshuvah, of returning, of coming closer, should give us hope. Through our actions, and yes, our positive choices, the universe will improve with age. Yom Kippur is an annual opportunity to work on teshuvah and to contribute to the redemptive process. We ask forgiveness. We grant forgiveness. We change and improve. We work to turn our hatred into love. I recently heard the phrase relationship maintenance to describe what we do on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we engage with relationship maintenance with God. We are all reminded that our world and universe is not perfect, and God did not put us on a perfect world that is free of pain. We have to partner with God to finish creation, to bring about redemption and healing. We have to work on our relationships with each other, especially the ones that we disagree with. The pandemic reminds us daily that human life is more valuable than anything. All human life, all souls matter. We are in this together, whether we like it or not. And on Yom Kippur, we have to work on our relationship with ourselves. During these stressful times, we need to regulate our own emotions and find the sources of joy. Psalm 118 reads, Zeh hayom asa Adonai, nagila v'nismecha bo. This is the day that God created. Let us rejoice on it. Each day that we wake up is a day full of the gift of life and possible joy. Let us grasp these possible joys, take hold of them with gratitude. On Yom Kippur, when we fast, we pause our bodily humanness to celebrate and focus on our souls within, because that is where the love and the redemption is to be found. We can affirm our place and role in helping to redeem the world. This Yom Kippur, every Yom Kippur, really every day that we are alive, we should carpe diem, seize the opportunity to shed our guilt, remove our evil instincts, and focus on our ability to love, to forgive, and to return closer to one another. I, for one, need to think long and hard about my continued use of social media. If not fully disengaging from it, at least I need to use it less and in more healthy and productive ways, like wishing my friends and family and congregants happy birthday or happy anniversary, and looking at my sister's new cat pictures that she posts almost daily. We have 23 hours left in this Yom Kippur. What are we waiting for? Let us get busy. Shana Tova.